For more updates, click on subscribe and click on bell button for latest notifications. Hi friends, welcome to Tech ARK IT YouTube channel. My name is Ravi. In this video session, we are going to see that the continuation for the NagVis installation. After the installation, what we have to do in order to get the status of each host into these maps. So what you have to do? So basically you have to install any of these tools in order to get this work. So one is that NDO Utilities, and one more thing is MK Live Status, otherwise PGSQL. So there are some other tools which can provide the status to this NagVis, so which is a mediator in between this Nagios status. Live status can be stored onto this utilities and the status will be shown on the maps. So how we can install this one of the utility and configure the NagVis maps? So here I'm going to use Ndy Utilities in order to do that. So first of all, what we have to do is that we have to install MariaDB server, MariaDB devil. So these are the packages you have to install for first of all for the MariaDB. So the status will be stored onto the database, and from there we call onto the maps. So that's the status. So how we can use this to set up this Ndy Utilities status to be captured onto the maps. So now we have installed the MariaDB. First of all, we start the service systemctl enable MariaDB. Okay, after that start. So first of all, we have to run this in order to set up the username and password for the first time. So set the root password, say yes, and set the password whatever it is. I'm setting a simple password. Remove the anonymous users. Yes, we don't want any anonymous user. Disable root login from the remote, so I am allowing this one. And remove the test database. Yes, I don't want any test database. And remove the privileges, reload the privileges. Now our database service has been set, and we have enabled the service to start on the startup, and we have to create the database user and database and provide the access to that particular user, so that using that user we store the status and we retrieve the status on the NagVis maps. Let's see that how we can set up this database and privilege. Log into the database, MySQL -u and -p, and provide the password. Now I'm logged into the MariaDB, and here create the database, create database, and I'm giving the database name as Nagios, and using the default character set, and set format as UTF-8, and collate is UTF-8 general. So this is the collate you have to use. Otherwise you don't need to use any collate, just run default would be works fine. And now create the user, create user. So username, and I'm using NDO Utilities. So it would be easy for us to maybe you can use short name NDOUtils at localhost, because it is on a local host we are creating, and provide the identified by password. The password you can provide anything, So password is password, I'm just providing for this user. So created, and we have to grant the privileges, so usage on that. So I have some query here, so usage NDO utilities, and grant some of the maximum and minimum query characters here. So this is the query NDO utilities, and so here I'm just going to use this password as password. So this is the exact query. Now grant the permissions, grant all privileges on Nagios dot star to which, to NDOUtils user at localhost with grant option. So that's what we have to use it in order to create this database and provide the user credentials and reload the privileges and exit. So that's what we have to do. And if you want to verify the database, you can verify it, the database is there or not. So after that, what we have to do is that we have to do some kernel level settings. So in order to modify systemctl configuration, I'm just backing up this sysctl dot configuration file to somewhere else. Maybe I copied it to /opt, and here I'm just going to replace the settings one by one. So which is going to be so I'm just going to delete this, and I'm just going to delete one more line. So here there are some settings which should be configured, and after that we have to add some kernel parameters into the file. So I will provide this configuration on my GitHub repository, so you can just copy paste these strings, so that works. So that's what we have to do, and now we just need to download the NDO utilities and go to /tmp path and copy this NDO utilities from GitHub repository. So now which is copied, I just extract this file, NDOUtils file, and go to NDOUtils, and here you have to just run configure. Now run make all and run make install. So which says that main NDOUtils components has been installed. So if you are using the Nagios different versions, example Nagios 3 or Nagios 2, then you have to run this make install 3x or 2x. So currently we are using Nagios 4, that's why the 4 has been installed here. So now we have to initialize the database which has some queries here. Go to db, so I'm going into the NDOUtils db directory. Here there is some database queries. So in order to run this, because these queries will be loaded into the database, so I'm just going to run this install db and use this username. So what is the username we have used? NDOUtils, and password, you can provide the password here, and host is localhost. You can provide in single code or normal code, that works, and database name which is Nagios, and the database has been updated with the tables which was there. Then now run make install config, which will install the configuration files, and run make install initiator, which means that which will install the service. So here which will create the files, sample files on the location, and which will also install the files. So now we just go to /usr local Nagios etc directory. You can see that there are some sample files, NDOUtils, sample to virtuals. Example, just remove this sample, and this file also remove this sample. So now the configuration files there. So now what we have to do is that we have to change this username and password on the NDOUtils configuration. So in order to do that, you can just run this set command, so which will replace this NDOUtils, and here you have to run this change this password as well. Okay, enable this NDOUtils service, enable NDOUtils, and start the service. So let's verify the status of this NDOUtils service, so which is running fine. Now we have to edit the Nagios configuration file, nagios.csg file, and here we have to write the broker module. So where the broker module should be updated, broker underscore module. So here there is a broker module, so just uncomment this one and write the path, so which is the path to the NDOS DB, the NDO mode configuration file, so which is located on /usr local Nagios bin. This is the file, and the configuration file is this one. So we have to update this path. Now restart Nagios and verify the status. Do you have any errors? No errors, looks like it's okay. Initializing the NDOUtils event broker is launched successfully. We do not have any configuration issues here. Now we have to go to the NagVis login and create the configuration. So before that, even before that, we have to update this NDOUtils configuration, so NDO2 mode configuration with the username and password and database details, so which will initiate the status files. So let's edit NDOUtils configuration file, NDOUtils.configuration file, and verify that whether do we have that NDOUtils user group and username password here. Let's verify. So it says that MySQL and DB host is localhost, port is correct, and you can also see whether do we have the DB name is Nagios and DB prefix is Nagios, and which has the username and password. So that's what we need. We have correct information here. Now let's go into the NagVis and log into the NagVis and create the maps. So friends, I'm here on the NagVis. I'm just going to log into this portal, and after this I'm just going to access one of this demo map and say edit and unlock. You can see that which is in edit mode. Now you can just go and upload the background images which you would like to use it. So I made some of the picture, rack picture. so the data center rack picture, and upload it. So now after that, go options and say manage maps and create the map. So I'm just going to use the map name, maybe data center view, and the alias also I'm just using data center view and regular map. Say create. Okay, the map has been created. After that, edit map, go to the map options and appearance. Here map image, let's select this data center image, and you can see that this image is there. So before this, we have to add the backend configuration where we get the data. So manage backends and choose which one you want. Here I like to create the new background, so maybe I say NDOUtils, NDOUtils, and please choose the backend type. I'm just using NDOMy, and here we have to provide the details. So what is the DB host, local host, and DB port 3306 is the SQL port, and database name is Nagios, and DB user is NDOUtils, and the password is password, and prefix is Nagios, and the DB instance is default. So max value is 180. So this is what the details you have to fill in the backend details, and say save. So now the backend has been saved. Now you can just go to here and say icon and click here. You can see that some of the failed to get the object connection details. Nagios is not running or restarting. So here one more step we have to do is that we have to update the NagVis PHP file with the details of the database and username and password with the details. So we have to just go to /usr local NagVis etc, and here there is a file called NagVis PHP. So, and here search for DB user. So here we have to update the details. So basically username we have to update here, NDOUtils, and the password and prefix what you have used, and database instance name, and same details which we have provided there. So but the NagVis is not getting into the PHP, so that sometimes which gives the error, so that's why. And systemctl restart NDO2DB service, systemctl restart Nagios service, and systemctl restart HTTPD service. That's it. Now again go back to the NagVis and just reload the page. So now host, click here, so now you can see that there is one host. Select and unlock this one and map it. So like this you can edit icon, maybe you can add the service, and here which should be not live one, so by default it should be NDOUtils. So localhost, I would like to select the ping status here, and so something like this. You can add more host services and details, localhost, and maybe I would like to select SSH service here. So like this you have to take your data center the rack photo and upload it here as a backend, and map that particular server status to the particular server, and lock it. So this is like a map. Whenever you just hover here, you can see that status, all of that host status. So in single pan, if you open this page, you can see that all the servers in green status or not. Anything if it goes down, then the status will be changed to the red color, and if there is a maintenance, it shows a maintenance activity. If anything went something wrong with the warning details, you can show in this. So this is how you can create the NagVis maps. So not only this, you can create more maps with the different things, like flow charts, the mail services, or anything you can just imagine your service levels, and maybe you can upload the network diagram and map host status and port status, link status, all of these details. So that's how you can install and configure and create the maps on the NagVis.